Well, Jen, we are, I guess you'd call them ships in the night right now. We were just talking about how we were together, but not together in August at the same conference, didn't get to see each other, but are really excited to connect here on Moms of Real Estate. And Jen, I'd love you to take a minute to just introduce yourself and talk about your market, your specialization. You know, you have a great social media following. And so I think you can tell everybody where to find you right away, and then we can kind of get into what we were going to talk about.
Okay, sounds great. Well, I am Jen Dillard, and I am in Hood River, Oregon, which is just 45 minutes to an hour east of Portland. And what's unique about our area is that it's we're right on the Columbia River, which separates Oregon and Washington. So most of our team is duly licensed in both states. I have a team of 12 agents and 5 full-time operations staff. And we are a busy, active team.
That is awesome. Wow. So how long have you had your team, and how long has it been this big?
So I started growing my team about 4 years ago. So I moved to the Gorge from the Seattle area about 5 years ago, and then started my team 4 years ago, and have grown it. It started off with just one, and then, just very slowly and organically have grown it to what it is. So
that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart to run a large team.
No, it's not. But it's so fun and so worth it.
It is so fun, and it is so worth it, and it's rewarding, and especially during the market that has happened over the last couple of years. I'm sure it's been really awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we have that support of each other through good times and bad, when the market's, at its best, and when it's shifting, and when it's, it's always fun to have people that are right along your side and know what, can appreciate and understand what you're going through. So,
yeah. I get that. Is there anybody on your team that's been there since the very, very beginning? Or is it relatively new, or, as far as...
I have one agent that was my first agent, and he's still on my team. And
wow. That's great.
Yeah. So we have very little turnover. So
that's amazing. That is amazing. That's really important. We're in the beginning days, and we're still working on all of those pieces. Got some people who have stayed, and then of course it's not easy to keep everybody, but
absolutely.
We're learning. We cannot wait to be a couple of years from now, even though I'm enjoying now and what that brings, So one of the reasons that we wanted you to come on today was we wanted to talk about kind of the marketing piece of social media and listings, and kind of where they intersect. You clearly have a great personal brand with regards to your real estate business, but I'd love to hear, and I think a lot of agents would love to hear from someone like you, who has such a great sized team. You're doing a lot of volume, where you think the social media and imagery piece intersect, especially talking about virtually staged listings, regularly staged listings, imagery, and all of that. So I'd love to hear from you right now, like, what percentage of your listings are you promoting on social media? And if all of them, what's kind of the cadence for how you're bringing that kind of marketing into your arsenal?
Yeah. So we have 2 separate Instagrams. One is the JDRE team, and that is the team Instagram where we put everybody's listings. And then I have my own for my personal brand at Jen Dillard. And so I just post my own listings, and then, other things there. So on the JDRE team, we put all of our listings on there, and we go, we'll do once a week, like pendings, and then once a week new listings, and then just sold and things like that. So we try to keep it just one post with a carousel of all of the different pendings that have gone pending that week. Just so that we're not like just listed, just sold, because we want to have other content besides just what's in contract and what isn't. I feel like that gets so boring for people. So try to keep it fresh and exciting with more than just.
as far as cross promotion from your personal Instagram and your personal accounts, do you how do you decide what's going to go on your personal and where it's going to be featured, or if it's going to be featured at all?
So for my personal page, I only put my own personal listings where I'm the lead listing agent. So my team is unique in the sense that each agent is an independent agent and they have their name on the listings. And so their own listings. And so, so when it's just me as the listing agent, then I put them on my page and then the other ones go to the JDRE team page.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And are you also doing professional videography that you cut down to other platforms, or what are you doing as far as listing promotion?
So we do videography for every listing. And then and we also have drone images when we see fit, drone video, and then we also cut those down to vertical reels. And so each listing gets, well, not every single listing, but the ones that we think would be a good fit, they get a reel. And usually it's dependent on price point, or if it's a really unique property that we think that a video would benefit. And so, yes, so those go to Instagram and to YouTube. I'm trying to think where else, Facebook.
Do you find that YouTube is good from a search engine perspective for your listings to come up, or do you find you get more action on other social platforms?
I think we get the most action on Instagram, but I do feel like YouTube has been really beneficial as well.
So as far as like where, kind of where you're deciding what imagery to use. So right now, in New York, we have a lot of sellers who are like, can't you just virtually stage these? Like, why do we need to do real staging? What are your thoughts on that, considering you're doing such robust social media marketing for your listings?
So when I moved to the Gorge 5 years ago, there were no modern staging companies. There were a couple of people that did staging, but it was very small scale. And so I saw a huge need there because I came from a bigger market, and I was like, we need to have staging. So I got a warehouse and I filled it with inventory and decor and all the goods. And so we stage all of our listings in-house. I personally think that staging makes such a big difference. And I think that it, in my opinion, needs to be actual staging, because in my opinion, it needs to be real staging, because when you walk in the house, you see these beautiful photos of it staged, and then you walk in the house and you're like, it just doesn't have that same feel. And I like to give that whole feel, like warm and cozy vibes. I feel like that's really important. So.
Oh yeah. And I think, so as far as staging it in-house, is that something that you guys offer within the confines of the commission structure that you have?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. That's awesome. And so do you have I'm assuming you have a part of your team that's dedicated to staging.
Yep, I do. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And did you already have a design background? That's amazing that you decided to take this on.
I've done some design in the past. And so I hire people that also have had design background, that have a design background for that role. So.
Wow. And I would just love to hear from you. Like, how long did it take you to kind of put that together and get that up and running? I mean, it can't be easy.
No. And we've definitely had bumps in the road of when we can't find the muscle to help move things, or we are out, we lose a stager and we've got all these listings coming on. I mean, it can be really crazy, but if I have to jump in, I have to jump in, and I have to get in there and do it myself. So I started offering the staging to our clients pretty much right off the bat. I would say within a year of starting the team, I started the staging aspect of the business, and we're offering it to other agents as well, in the market, but then we just got too busy and got too many listings of our own and couldn't accommodate other realtors' needs. And so, yeah, I mean, it really sets us apart. And I think that it also makes such a huge difference for our sellers to have that. So.
Right. I mean, staging is a really, really big piece of the business at this point. There's just no denying. I do countless, I don't know, posts about how, listen, if I need you to stage, if I tell you to stage, you're staging. There's just
Yeah.
no other way to slice it. We're not going into an easier time to sell these homes, and
No.
people expect to walk into a place that they feel that they can live in.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of layers to staging. I'm assuming that you're talking all kinds of staging. You're talking about editing and bringing in your pieces, and then of course this full soup to nuts when the home is vacant as well.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
we've got it all. We've got greenery, we've got kitchen, things for the kitchen. I mean, and it's taken time. And, there have been times where we have 30 listings on the market and we're like, oh my gosh, we don't have any inventory. So I've got to go and take the staging van down, make a home goods trip and whatever, but got to do what you got to do.
you do. So, and then I'm assuming with that, because you've gone in-house with staging, have you decided to go in-house with photography as well? Or how
I
are you
haven't
doing?
yet. That is something we're having conversations about now. I think that it's something that probably we're going to need to do. Um, yeah, photography and videography, just with all the content that we're putting out too. It would be so nice to have somebody there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I think I, I think definitely a need. There's definitely a need and a discussion around that. With us, the photography in New York has gotten just, I mean, I haven't done our calculations on photography for the year yet.
Sure,
uh,
it's insane.
but it's, yeah, I mean, we're talking, it can be nearly $1,000 to photograph a home.
Do you have that in-house? Do you
We
have
don't
photography and
have it
videography?
in-house either. We're using, at where we are, we're a lot. I mean, I only know a couple of agents who've decided to go in-house with their photography,
Mhm.
and it's really mostly using preferred vendors, which then of
Mhm.
course, the way that it works with the marketing budgets in New York City, the agents really like to use these preferred vendors through the company, because then it basically ends up being something essentially gets covered by the company. So that's something that you're always trying to do. But then of course they're not, when it's a busy time for listings, you can't get anybody that you want to photograph.
Mhm.
Then you need to
So
have relationships.
one thing that we have done is we have an exclusive relationship with our photographer videographer where we've had them sign a non-compete, so they won't do photography or videography for any other agents in our area. So
That's a Yeah, I think right now it's something that's really worth thinking about, is trying to figure out how to make sure
yeah.
that you know who you're working with, and all of that. and
Mhm.
that they're and that they're I mean, at some point I would also think that if you could find somebody who is good, because I think you can't just hire anybody to do
No,
property photography. But
no.
I feel like if you find somebody who was great at property photography, maybe they could help you with some other photography that you needed, as far as socials and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So we'll see. But I think that's the next step. I mean,
that
going in
would be
house,
the goal. That'd be amazing.
I know going in house with staging is a great first step, though, I have to say. So that's kudos to you. That
Thank you.
you must have a logistics background as well. What did you do before real estate?
And telecommunications, actually.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
I
Well,
am so
communications
not
is
a
important.
telecom I honestly loved the sales aspect of it, but I knew nothing about telecommunications. I mean, it was like, to me, it was the most boring thing in the world. But I met my husband through telecommunications industry. So worth every moment.
Yeah, worth every blood, sweat, and tear that you're
Yeah.
is he still in that industry, or is he working with you?
He is not working with me. He is not in that industry anymore either, but he has started a real estate syndication company. So we have two separate real estate companies.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's busy times at your house, not talking about business when you get home from work.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add in two kids and dogs and all the things to the mix. It's crazy.
Oh my God, that's great. So, I guess another question with
Yeah.
regards to kind of going outside the home with the kind of drone, you're talking about drone footage and that kind of a thing, because we do apartments, so any drone
Yeah.
footage we do is like probably illegal, and probably like, just of the buildings and kind of like climbing up and down. Do you find, because a lot of your homes have, I'm assuming, like beautiful landscape situations. So is that something where you're also contributing to staging there too? I'm sure you do some outdoor stuff too.
Yes. Yes. If there's an outdoor area, we will stage it. And uh, I think the whole idea behind staging is just to make sure that people see like the potential and what it could be and what they, how their furniture would look in it. And it's just giving them an idea. So if we can create a sitting area out of nothing and make it look like you could have some outdoor places to entertain or enjoy.
Right.
So it's great. Yeah. I think that it's really important.
Do you find, because we never really, unless we're dealing with like a great terrace space, do you have to also advise with regards to landscaping and that kind of thing in your market? Or is that just like, hey, landscaping would be a good idea here because you clearly would make a difference? Is that something that's a big discussion?
We do discuss it. Generally, it's not like plant this, plant that. Normally, it's more like we need to have somebody, and we will facilitate this, but we need to have somebody come out and mow the yard or edge or things like that. So,
Got it. Got it. So it's just like pruning and
yeah,
just
clean up.
stuff. Wow. Wow. Full service operation here, I have to say.
Yes.
It's really, really impressive. So right now, what are your goals for the team going forward? What do you think? I mean, you have a family. How many kids do you have?
I have two,
You have two kids, and how old are they?
8 and 6.
Wow. Yeah, I've got an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old and a
My daughter will be 7 next month. So,
oh wow. Yeah, it's busy. It's a
right
busy
there,
time. Back to
right there with
school.
you.
Back to school. So I'm assuming with your family, with life, what's your next plans with the team? Like, are you planning on growing the team even further? Are you kind of stabilizing right now? Where are you?
I do see us growing. I think that we have the capacity to grow. And I think that I just see such a need for mentoring in the industry. I think it's really important if you are able to be a mentor and you have the capacity to do it, why not take more under your wing? And so a lot of our agents have gone from just getting their license to being really great, successful realtors on the team. And so I think that as they continue to grow, I feel like I have more room and capacity to add more.
Yeah, totally. And then it's almost like becomes a mastermind situation instead of just a team.
Exactly. Yes. So I think we will grow. I don't ever put like a number on it because I don't want to grow for the wrong reasons. And I want to make sure that we grow organically because that person's a great fit, a great culture fit. The culture is super important to me. And so we have a really strong culture on our team right now. So when the right people come along, then my door's open for sure.
Yeah, totally. That's
yeah.
great. Well, yeah. I love hearing all this incredible stuff because it's super inspiring from this side of the country, because I can tell you that, I mean, we could definitely be doing more staging in-house. That's for sure. We could definitely be doing a lot more like you're doing. And we just do such a different way.
Well, business. I'm an open book. So any questions that you have, I'm happy to share. So.
Well, I love that you've been so open and generous because it's really, I think, interesting for people to hear. This is really kind of an industry conversation. This is not as interesting for maybe people who aren't real estate agents, but it's amazing to hear a mom of 2, thriving family, thriving business, all of that, and what it takes to be a super successful team where you are.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think you're just as amazing, if not more. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on. Again, remind everybody where they can find you, not just on Instagram, but all your platforms and your team.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're everywhere on social media, Google, all the things. But follow us on Instagram for sure at Jen Dillard and at JDRE team.
All right. I'm going to look up JDRE team because I'm following you on Instagram now, but I will follow your team, and I can't wait to hear about what comes up next. And I'll probably see you at the next summit or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. This was great. Thank you so much.